Good morning, viewers. This is Kasturi Day. Today, I'm going to again discuss the elements, compounds, and mixtures chapter according to ICSE syllabus class 8. Okay. So, today I'm starting with the characteristics of the mixture. See, a mixture consists of two or more pure substances that can exist together without any chemical combination between them. Okay. For example, see a mixture of sand, salt, and sulfur. So this is a mixture where there are two or more pure substances are there that can exist without any chemical combination. That means the mixture in the sand, salt, and sulfur, they are not chemically combined in this combination. Okay, so they are called a mixture. When they are mixed together, they are called a mixture. Okay, the constituents of the mixture are present in any ratio. The constituents, that is the constituent of sand, the constituent that is the sand, salt, and sulfur, they are present in any ratio. Okay, a mixture, for example, see a mixture of sand and salt can be in the ratio 1:2 or 5:6, etc. by weight. Okay, then the mixture is a result of a physical change. It's a result of a physical change. Okay, where no chemical combination is being taking place. Okay, the constituent of the mixture do not bind itself by chemical bonds. For example, see in air, there are the main constituents of air are oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. Or other gases are also present, but they are not chemically combined. They are not bound to each other with chemical bonds. Okay. Now the properties of the mixture are average. Okay, are average of the properties of its constituents. Okay, that is the properties of the constituents. The mixture, the properties of the mixture will be the average properties of the constituents. Okay, for example, the properties of air, and in between the properties of nitrogen and oxygen. Now, most of the mixtures are heterogeneous in nature, but some of them are also homogeneous. In the mixture of iron and sulfur, at some places sulfur is more, and in some places iron is more. So the combination, this are a heterogeneous combination. Okay, and if their mixture they have the same amount of iron or sulfur, then that will be a homogeneous mixture. Okay, like a sugar solution where the sugar will be in sugar particles will be spread throughout the throughout the solution, and the water particles will also be spread throughout the solution in a fixed proportion. Okay, then that is a homogeneous mixture. Then generally the constituents can be separated by suitable physical means. Okay, the constituents of this mixture, they can be separated by physical means as there is no chemical bonding. But in a compound where that is in alloys where you can see there is a chemical combination, you cannot separate by physical means. Okay. For example, say iron can be separated for the mixture of iron and sulfur with the help of a magnet. That is a physical means by which we can separate the iron from the iron sulfur mixture. Then no energy is released or absorbed during the formation of a mixture. Okay. So there is no energy change taking place in the formation of the mixture. For example, say on mixing iron and sulfur, heat energy is neither absorbed or released like that. It happens in formation of a compound. Okay. Next is characteristics of the homogeneous substances. Okay. Now I told you that two types of mixtures are there. One is homogeneous, another one is heterogeneous. So homogeneous substances, the characteristics are the components are uniformly distributed throughout its volume and cannot be separated, cannot be seen separately. That is, in the salt solution, you can see salt solution is a homogeneous mixture because the salt particles are we cannot see the salt particles, and they cannot be separated. Separately seen from the water particles. Okay, they are uniformly distributed within the solution. Then another example is tap water, milk, air, fruit juice, brass, bronze, etc. They are all homogeneous mixtures where you cannot separate the constituents. I mean, you cannot see this constituents separately. Okay. Next is the characteristics of the heterogeneous mixture. The components are not uniformly distributed throughout its volume. Okay, the constituents, the constituents of this heterogeneous mixture, they can be seen easily. They can be separately seen easily. Okay, it has a definite different composition in different parts of its bulk or mass. Like soil. Soil is a mixture of elements and compounds. Its composition varies from one place to another, and that is why different substances are found in the soil in different places. Like again, another one is sand, sand and stone. Okay, sometimes the stone particles are more in the sand, and sometimes sand particles are more in the stone. In the mixture. So that in that case, there is a different composition present in the different parts of the mass. Okay, like again, mud and water. You can see both the mud and the water separately. Kerosene and water, that also doesn't mix together. You can see the kerosene oil floating above the water. Then rice and pulses, again, rice and pulses, you can separately see them. Okay, and they are not uniformly mixed, distributed throughout the volume of the mass. Okay, so and these are all heterogeneous mixtures. Okay, next we come to why do we need to separate the components of the mixture. Okay, see what happens when the mixtures exist in any three states of matter. They may exist in solid, liquid, or gas, depending upon the physical state of its components. Now, to make our life comfortable and convenient, most of these mixtures have to be separated from some harmful substances which may degrade the properties of the mixture. Okay, generally what happens, as mixtures can stay in, can exist in any state of matter. So what happens, all the things which are available to us, generally all the things, they are mixed with certain substances. Okay, then there may be some harmful substances also mixed with the substances we use. So we need to separate those harmful substances so that we can lead our life comfortably and conveniently. Okay, for example, seawater is rich in common salt, which is an important ingredient of our food, but we cannot use the seawater in our food, no? So the salt has to be separated from the seawater to make it usable in our food. Okay, so for the purpose of separating this salt from this mixture, we need to remove the unwanted and harmful substances. Okay, then to obtain pure and useful substances, again we need to separate the components of the mixture. So the principle of separation depends upon certain things like the type of mixture and their physical states. What is the type of mixture? Is it homogeneous or is it a heterogeneous mixture? And the physical state, whether it's a solid, liquid, or gas. Then the shape of the mixture, the size and the color of the mixtures. Then their characteristic properties like the boiling points, the constituents boiling points rather, because the mixtures will not have their specific boiling point. It will contain the boiling point of the constituent elements. So the compounds. So the characteristic properties of this boiling point, melting point, density, volatility, solubility, magnetic properties, ability to sublime, etc. These are all the characteristic properties on which we can separate the mixtures. Okay, now how to separate solid mixtures. Mechanical removal or hand picking. For to remove it mechanically, we can use it like hand picking. Like if the quantity of the mixture is very small, we can use this method. And then the size of the particles, if they are large and of different colors, then we can use this mixtures, colors and shapes. Okay, so for example, say tiny stones and shaft can be separated from the rice and pulses. Then magnetic separation is used in a mixture where one component of the mixture is a is of magnetic nature, like iron, cobalt, nickel. If this if is there, then that can be separated by magnetic mixture. Okay. Next, a separation of solid-solid mixtures by gravitational method, sublimation. Then gravitational method, when one component is heavier than water, the other one is much lighter than the water, like sand and sawdust. Okay. When sawdust will float, when we when we want to separate this mixture, we'll put some water in it. The sawdust will float and the sand will settle down. And by decantation, we can separate the sawdust from the sand. Okay, and then by filtration, we can get the sawdust. So that is the way, by gravitational method, we can separate the solid-solid mixture. Then sublimation, one component has to be sublimate. Which can sublime. Okay, that's the property of sublimation on heating, and that can escape and can be separated from the mixture. For example, see mixture of a sand and iodine. Iodine can sublime. Then common salt and ammonium chloride mixture. Then common ammonium chloride can sublime. Okay. Next we come to solid-solid mixture again. Solvent extraction method. Okay, when one component is soluble in in a particular liquid, let's say either water or any other solvent, that can be used, or the other is insoluble. Okay, separated as a filtrate, or it can be decanted. Okay, for example, sodium chloride and calcium carbonate. See, when we put water into this mixture, the sodium chloride will dissolve. Okay, then we can separate the mixture from the calcium carbonate by decantation. Okay, then when we evaporate the water, sodium chloride solution, this water will get evaporated and the salt will be left behind. The sodium chloride will be left behind. This is how we can separate this method. The mixture. Then fractional crystallization. This is another one. When the solubility of a solid component are different in the same solvent, example, the mixture of a common salt or potassium nitrate, where the solubility of potassium nitrate is more than sodium chloride. Okay, the solubility of the components are different. That is, one gets more soluble, more quickly, it can dissolve and the other. So for example, say common salt and potassium nitrate, where potassium nitrate can dissolve more faster than the sodium chloride in water. And when a hot solution of this mixture is cooled, then sodium nitrate crystallizes first, leaving behind sodium chloride. Okay, and this process can be repeated separately till the whole potassium nitrate is separated from sodium chloride. Okay. Next we come to solid liquid mixture. I think I'll stop here. I'll continue with the rest of the this chapter in my next video. Please go through this. If you have any doubt, please write in the comment box, and do share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And also do subscribe to get the notification of my next video. Thank you. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Okay.